Hello, friends. In today's IG Live, we're going to talk about why, as a copywriter, you need to take control of the editing round. I get it. When you are done sending over, or when you're done writing your draft, you've polished it, it's as good as it's going to be, at least in this first round. You want to just send it over to your client and move on to the next thing. I get it. Totally get it. However, when this is a new client or a client that maybe needs a little bit more hand-holding, the best way to deal with the edit round is not to just send it over your client and be like, all right, let me know if you have questions, let me know if you have changes. Because remember, as we're always saying, clients don't know how to be clients. They don't know the best way to give you feedback. It's a project that's been out of their heads, right? You had the initial conversation, you had the, after the discovery call, you had the input call, and you got on the same page about the project. But your client, because you're a great copywriter, your client has taken that out of their head and put it on your plate. And you've kept it on your plate and you've done a great job and you're giving it back to them. But there are going to be things that your client might not even remember, and decisions that you two made together that your client might not even remember. And unless you are there to guide them through your copy document, your client might not remember these issues or might not remember these changes and decisions, might not know how to give feedback, might not know where to give feedback, might be nervous about even giving feedback, even though we know that that's an essential part of the process. So instead of just like throwing over the fence to your client, especially if it's a new client or a bigger project, schedule time for a creative review call and take the time to take your client through the process. First, go through the things that you agreed on in your initial call, in your input call, the stuff that you put in your creative brief, any essential points, what you wanted this project to do, who you're talking to, the benefit, all that stuff. And you don't have to spend hours on it. Well, obviously not hours, but like you don't even have to spend 5 minutes on it. Spend 2 minutes just refreshing your clients so they remember what to focus on in this project. And then take them through the project. And in a few key places, help them understand why you did what you did. And then let them know that, yeah, they can give you feedback on the call if they have some immediate thoughts, but let them know that they don't have to give you feedback in that exact moment, that they can think on it for a little while. Another thing that you can include in that call, and really that it's good to tell your clients just in general, is that the best way to give you feedback is to tell you what's not working and why it's not working, and let you be the one to make the changes, to adjust it, because you're the copywriter, right? But there are a couple of different reasons why clients do it. Sometimes they don't know how to give feedback in any other way except to say, this doesn't work, what about this instead? Or I don't like this word, but no reason behind it. Remember, clients don't know how to be clients, so we have to teach them. I've told this story, so I'm not going to say it or tell it in the long form here, but I used to get feedback from a client, and it was always, I was on staff, so she was a product manager, I think, doesn't matter. But we would go through the projects, and she would always be suggesting new lines of copy. She would say, okay, well, this doesn't work, how about this instead? Or this doesn't work, how about this instead? And of course, as a copywriter, I was like, okay, maybe you could just let me do my job. So finally I said to her, hey, thank you so much, but the best way to do this, because I'm the copywriter, the best way to do this, just tell me. You don't have to do that work. You don't have to write the copy. Just let me know what doesn't work and why. And it turned out that she actually felt bad about giving feedback without also providing a possible solution. It was just a complete miscommunication. When you think about it, it's actually very sweet that she didn't want to give feedback without also providing a solution. And then, of course, I explained to her that I don't take that personally. That's my job, is to take that feedback and incorporate it into an improved line or whatever. But so you sometimes have to tell clients that this is the best way to get feedback. And also, too, when we're talking about managing this feedback process, keep your clients aware of the timeline. If, for example, you have to get them final copy by a certain date. Figure out what that means in terms of when you need to get that feedback by. You may be thinking, well, my client knows that they have to get me, that I have to get them final copy by a week from Tuesday. So of course they'll know that they need to give me feedback, within the next couple of days. But that might not be the way that your client is thinking about it, or they might not be putting all of those pieces together. Just be that helpful partner and say, super thanks, I'm so glad we got a chance to talk about this. Like I said, you can take some time and think about the feedback and definitely let me know what isn't working for you and why. That'll be the best way. Not these exact words, but you don't want to put it all together, but you know what I'm saying. And also just a reminder, in order for us to hit our final copy date of, a week from Tuesday, I'll need to get that feedback back from you by, and give them a deadline. Help them remember that in order to stay on schedule, it's not just a you thing, it's also a them thing. They need to participate so that you can stay on schedule. And here's a little copy tip. If you can, give yourself a little bit extra time. If you're like, all right, I need it by I need to get them final feedback by next Tuesday. It'll take me a couple of days. I don't work weekends. It'll take me a couple of days to get that or to incorporate that feedback, and just in case we want an extra round. So I really need it back. I really need that feedback by this Thursday, but I'm going to tell them this Wednesday, just to be extra careful, because you never know, maybe they'll come back with something that's kind of out of left field, and you'll have to get on the phone with them and talk it through, or all that kind of thing. But when you can, buy yourself a little bit of safety time. Yes, there will be times in your life when your client will be late and you will have to recoup some of that time. Obviously, if it's completely unreasonable, if they send you feedback the night before final copy is due, you're totally within your rights to say, hey, look, you sent this to me and it just simply doesn't give me enough time to turn around this copy for you. We're going to have to talk about a new final due date. But that's also a reason why it's so important to let them know when they have to give you that feedback by. Remember that part of being that partner is really helping to guide not just the review, not just the feedback process, but really the whole thing. Kind of keeping them focused, letting them know what you need so that you can deliver what they need when they need it. So to recap, it is very tempting when you finish some work to just send it over to your client, email it and be like, all right, let me know what you think. And you can do that eventually when you're working with clients that you've worked with a lot before. But with newer clients or with bigger projects or clients who need their hands held just a little bit, take control of that editing process. And I don't mean like control, but just guide it, manage expectations, take your client's hand. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Take your client's hand and guide them through the editing process. That's going to make it a lot smoother for both of you. And you never know, next time you work this client, maybe you won't have to do that. But at least for the first time, you definitely want to. It's going to make it so much smoother, and your client is going to appreciate you for it.